Hello and welcome to Firearm Freedom. This is going to be another First Impressions video. In today's First Impressions video, we are taking a look at my brand new to me LMT 308 MWS. There are no sponsors to the channel right now. How you can help me out is simply by hitting the subscribe button and commenting down below. Really, I love seeing your comments primarily because it just motivates me to keep doing these videos. Nothing's better than spending a lot of time on a video and seeing you guys actually engage down there and know that there are people, there are human beings watching these videos. Secondly, I do have my B channel, FF Lifestyle. I really appreciate you guys sitting through the ads for my B channel. If you do, many of you might fast forward, but I have a lot of really cool content over there, from snowboarding, hiking around, adventure vlogs, mountain biking, gym stuff, all forms of boarding that you could imagine. There's a lot of stuff over there, and also just kind of random reviews. So if you like that stuff, you want to diversify your subscription feed, head over to that B channel, FF Lifestyle, and help me get to 1,000 subs. We have another AR-10 on the channel to take a look at. I'll be honest with you, I did not think I was going to have another AR-10 at any point on the channel. That is how fed up with AR-10s I am currently at the moment. Have not filmed anything with my PWS Mark 216 recently. I had actually 2 out-of-battery discharges in that rifle that I believe at this point were caused from a faulty magazine. That rifle has still been at PWS for warranty repair for over a month now, and although the magazine probably was dragging on the bolt, causing issues, the gun should have went click, no bang, but instead of a no bang, it went bang, and it obviously blew the magazine out, had a whole hell of a lot of issues. And that AR-10 was really, as I said in the review, kind of like my gold standard. I finally thought I had found something in the AR-10 world that was viable. But ultimately, my search for AR-10s left me with a lot to be desired. And then a very good friend of mine, actually one of my bosses, said, hey, I have an LMT quad rail MWS with the 16-inch 308 barrel, and I want to sell this thing. And I'm like, I don't know, I'm not sure. And he said 2,000 beans for this thing, and I'm like, you know what? At that price, yes, I think I'm going to have to do it. With 6 magazines, I'm like, all right, this is a factory complete MWS LMT, and from my understanding, the MWS variations are a little older in the generations of LMTs, and they are not 100% ambi in the way of the bolt release being on this side. But nonetheless, it is still an incredible rifle with, of course, an extremely long track record of unbelievable reliability. My expectations, quite frankly, were high. I don't know what form of autism I have when it comes to 308s and AR-10s, but they fascinate me in this role of like spewing hate in under 50 yards. Don't ask me why. There's really not a lot of sense behind it. It's just something about having a rifle with, like this, with a red dot or a holographic sight up top, and the ability to absolutely rain hell down under 50 yards and make sure that whatever horrible bad person is in the way, you are putting them down with that 308. I had never seen this LMT in this type of configuration on YouTube, really in any sort of major video. Every one of them, you know, it's done up with incredible glass. At this point, I think everyone really knows that, yes, these are unbelievably accurate and capable rifles in that role. But what I wanted to figure out is how well is this rifle going to do in a battle rifle role. So I brought almost about 500 rounds to the range today, in just the most variety you could ever imagine. I had everything from this surplus South African ball ammo, which is notably usually very hot ammunition. I had Tula steel case, I had Aguila, and then I also had XM80 Federal, including a variety of defensive loads for this thing. I had Spear Gold Dot personal protection and Spear Gold Dot LE duty ammunition, as well as Critical Defense 308, and this is the 155 grain FTX bullet. I also had Magpul P-Mags, I had Duramags, Lancer Mags, and also a Magpul D 29 round magazine here. And I'm proud to say that this thing impressed the living shit out of me for what it was able to do. I did have one hard failure on this thing, and it was with the Tula steel case ammo. I got a stuck case. Now, I was pretty butthurt about that stuck case. I'm not going to lie to you guys, because I spent a lot of money, of course, on this rifle, and I'm like, you know what? I finally might have found an AR-10 that's just able to eat it all. Anything I can put through it, just it is going to do it. And I have shot, I don't even know how many thousands of rounds of Tula steel case across the board. And I have gotten a stuck case or two here or there, but it is a little bit more rare. And I have also shot that through the PWS and the Palmetto State Armory AR-10s, and I have not had any issues. I needed to get the awesome range folks at the range that I go to help me out with a cleaning rod, and it took a good bit of hitting. I tried to mortar it 3, 4, 5 times. That wasn't doing anything, and finally, after hitting it with the rod for about a minute, it came out, and I did see on the back of the steel casing, the rim actually had a chunk out the side of it, and it had fractured off, which is another reason why it was not pulling out. I did not see any extreme case forming on the sides, but this being a more accuracy drive rifle, you are going to have a slightly tighter chamber. I'm chalking that up to a tight chamber and maybe that round of Tula. Mind you, this Tula that I got was literally a loose ammo can of Tula I got from one of my buddies at the gun shop that I work at. I don't even know that he knew where he got it from. He's just like, here, use this for your videos. And yeah, so I don't know the condition of that Tula, and I am saying all that because I'm really not worried about it. At first, I'm like, damn, it had a failure, and then the more I thought about it, I'm like, with everything in consideration and going through 500 rounds of living hell today, I think that is just fine. So I would still trust my life to this rifle 100%. It did continue to run steel case one after the other without any other further issues. So there is a lot to be said that casing may have just been out of spec or some sort of an issue. I felt the very same way when my TRP had its first malfunction in a class, and I'm like, it was like somebody killed my firstborn child seeing that thing go down hard, and I needed tools to remedy the issue. So sometimes when a gun you have the most high hopes for goes down, it's like, damn, I really didn't want that. All of the flat nose defensive ammunition without issue. It was grouping tight, no accuracy problems whatsoever. The recoil impulse of this rifle was excellent. It was absolutely excellent. It really, I mean, it feels like you're kind of riding a bull a little bit. It is much more of like a push. I don't know how to explain it. It's like a push. I shot, again, 500 rounds of 308 with this today, and I am not feeling anywhere near as brutally beat up as I would with any other battle rifle out there. I think the Scar would be the only one that would top this in just beautiful recoil impulse. This thing was excellent, and because of the gas venting holes in the bolt carrier group, I really was impressed with that. And I gotta say, in the role of spewing hate close up, this thing was a monster. It was an absolute monster. With that being said, it is very, very concussive, very loud, and you're gonna know you're shooting this. So I would strongly recommend to get a flow-through can if you wanna run this thing suppressed and have it in any sort of a defensive real-world role. The reason why I say flow-through can is because LMT specs these barrels, which are quickly removable with these 2 screws here for different calibers and lengths, which is cool, but they perfectly gas these barrels unsuppressed at the factory to work with standard ammunition. Now, for me, in my eyes, I see that as, okay, if I put a high back pressure can on this, it's probably going to have some hiccups. So I wanted it to get the best possible chance, and because of my experience suppressing other AR-10s and having them absolutely beat themselves to death, I wanted to go with a flow through or flow through-ish can. I was actually running the Putnik on this today from Resilient Suppressors, and the Putnik did unbelievably well on this suppressor, and I took my ears off on the left side and the right side, and I was getting no ringing whatsoever. Now, because it's flow through, you do have a lot of noise going down range, and I think in some sort of home defense role, you're still going to be quite concussed with a suppressor like that. But the rifle handled the suppressor perfectly. It did not change my ejection pattern at all, and it actually dampened the recoil significantly. So what recoil push it did have was even less with that Putnik on the end. And again, I was pleasantly surprised. That thing was incredible on the rifle. Now, I was running the Putnik with the Dead Air Xeno device. If you notice here the difference of where the carbon is and where it is not, this thing broke free with minimal effort every single time I took it off at the range. So much so that even putting a cold suppressor on an unbelievably hot muzzle device, no issues. It slid right on there, right off, no problems. It never got carbon locked, and I was unbelievably impressed with that mounting system. So I'll be buying actually more of these, and I actually don't think it looks too terrible on the Putnik. The EOTech up top was coming loose quite a bit. I had to really wrench this sucker down, and then it was fine, no problems. Running a Surefire Scout Light up here and some SIG. I think these are Warwick tactical sights from back in the day. They're solid steel sights. No problems there. I do have some hockey tape or goon tape, in this case on the rubber LMT grip. The reason why I do that is these rubber grips, I love the ergos of the grip, but at the same time I hate how the rubber sticks to all my shit. So when it comes to the goon tape, it makes it so that it does not stick as bad, but I still get the nice ergos of the rubber grip. No issues running this D29 round magazine, which was really, really cool. The PWS would not even kind of run that magazine. So the LMT 100% reigns supreme in this case. Love the monolithic quad rail and the 16-inch barrel. In this roll, is it heavy? Yes, 100%, but totally wieldable. You got to go to the gym to be repping this rifle at the range, but let me tell you, if you can shoulder this, I mean, I was letting it rip at the range in this gun, and it was doing 100%. The factory LMT trigger is excellent. You got a nice special two-stage trigger there that's just a little bit smoother than normal. There's your brake and your reset. Right there. Super easy trigger to shoot fast. And the other thing I want to note about the action, like look at that bolt right there. It is absolutely disgusting. I don't know if the camera's picking up just how gross that bolt is, just with how smooth. It's literally like glass, okay? And that is impressive. An entire day of suppressed, gross, old South African ammo, Tula ammo. Normally, an AR is just going to be unbelievably caked, gross, gritty. This thing is like glass on the inside. And I think that speaks worlds to the quality of this rifle. And I can confidently say at this point that my mind has been changed when it comes to AR-10s. If you are going to go with an AR-10, I think this is 100% the way to go. Would I pay the amount of money these go for new? That would be a tough call, man. I really genuinely don't know that I can answer that question. I think there's a lot more out there for a lot less money that will get the job done. But if you're dead set on an AR-10, you gotta have it, this would be probably the one that I would go with. I just think in the realm of prices, this is the lowest out of the big three, I'll call them, with HK, Knights, and LMT. LMT being the lowest price out of the bunch. I think I would choose the LMT any day of the week. But again, you're going to definitely get into this at a pretty wild price point. But for me, I think this roll is insanely cool. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. I would genuinely consider something like this for home defense. If you live in a rural area, okay, and you have a suppressor, and you want a rifle that's going to get the job done in minimal rounds easily, I would probably choose this Hornady Critical Defense for my round of choice for this rifle. It was unbelievably accurate with this ammunition, and also, if you do any sort of research on this round, it is the prime loading for law enforcement out there to help with over-penetration issues. I think it reliably is getting about 12 inches in ballistics gel and also fragmenting really well, so dumping its energy inside of a soft tissue target in a hurry. It's not holding its form and continuing on with a lot of penetration power. Would I ever even close to recommend using that in a tight-knit residential area? Absolutely not. But could you get away with it in a rural area? 100%. And this rifle has the capability of connecting and raining hell at 25 yards or inside the home, and then also immediately turning around and bringing it out to 1,000. So that is a really cool ability that this thing has, and I love this rifle. And it's still held strong, and I'm really excited to get this thing back to the range for some more abuse, some more hate in this battle rifle role. That is going to wrap this video up on my LMT 308 MWS. If you guys have any other questions about this rifle or anything else on the channel, please let me know down in the comment section below, and I absolutely will get back to you. While you're down there, head up to the description for the ways to support the channel, and as always, stay tuned for more great content coming soon.